Hello class. Today we are going to start chapter 3 of our history, New Kings and Kingdoms part 2. In this chapter you'll study about the emergence of new dynasties in South India, the Cholas, the Pandyas, administration, society, literature, architecture, economy, education in Chola Kingdom. The emergence of new dynasties in South India. While new dynasties such as the Rashtrakutas, the Palas, the Gurjar Pratiharas, and the Rajputs succeeded in establishing their kingdom in North India in the start of medieval period. South India was also facing the same type of development. This map is showing the small kingdoms in South India. The medieval era of 500 years, 700 AD to 1200 AD, saw some important developments in South India. Many regional kingdoms rose and fell. Ashoka's edict mentions three main kingdoms of Cheras, Cholas, and Pandyas in South India. In later period, the kingdoms of Chalukyas and Pallavas rose in the area of present-day Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. The Rashtrakutas ruled over the northern part of Deccan during this time. Cholas. In class 6th, we have studied about Chalukyas, Karnataka, and Pallavas, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. The beginning of the medieval period saw the expansion and rise of the Chola Empire. They defeated the Pallava king and the other local rulers. They built a strong navy and even conquered Sri Lanka, parts of Southeast Asia, and the islands of Maldives and Lakshadweep, and helped in the spread of Indian culture to foreign countries. The Chola established an empire in South India with Tanjore as their capital. Rajaraja I and Rajendra I were the most popular kings of the Chola dynasty. Rajaraja Chola I, 985 to 1016 AD, built a strong navy. Rajendra Chola I, 1016 to 1044 AD, took the title of Gangaikoda Cholam, meaning the conqueror of Ganga. He built a new capital called Gangaikoda Cholapuram. The Cholas came into power in 9th century under Vijayale. The most prominent rulers were as follows. Pranantaka I. He expanded the empire and took the title of Madurai Konda, the conqueror of Madurai. Rajaraja I. He suppressed the Cholas and expanded his kingdom. The most famous Brihadeshwar temple at Tanjore was built by him in the 11th century, which was dedicated to Lord Shiva. Most of the temples were of the Dravidian style. The Cholas encouraged art and craft and made statues with metals. The most famous bronze statue, Nataraj, dancing Shiva, is the masterpiece of their art. The Pandyas. The kingdom of Pandyas was established in the 7th century AD. They ruled over Madurai, Tirunelveli, and part of Travaneri. It is reputed to be the most ancient of Tamil states. Kandungori started the Pandya rule. His son Maruvarman Avni Sulamani came into conflict with the Pallavas. He aligned with Cholas and defeated the Pallavas. The Pandyas carried on frequent wars with Ceylon, Sri Lanka too. In the 11th century, they were compelled to submit to the supremacy of the mighty Cholas. But in the 13th century, they asserted their independence again under Jalavarman Sundar Pandya, who ruled from 1251 AD to 1272 AD. Gradually, the Pandya became the leading power in the south. Do you know, Rajaraja spread the message of Vedas among the common people. The kings performed Ashwamedh Yajnas to celebrate their conquest. Unfortunately, a civil war broke out among a number of contenders to the throne, which sealed up the fate of this kingdom. The Muslim invaders plundered and looted the kingdom and made it weak. In the 16th century, the Pandya kingdom was absorbed by the kingdom of Vijayanagar. Administration in South India. The Chola administration was well organized. The king was the head and was assisted by ministers. They had a very strong armed force consisting of cavalry, infantry, elephants, and a good navy. The empire was divided into mandalams and valanadus, province and districts, consisting of many villages. The administration was carried out by village assemblies called Ur Sabha and Nagaram. Ur was the village assembly, Sabha was the assembly of learned people and Nagaram consisted of merchants, traders and artisans. This shows that they had a good local self-government. The Uttara Merur inscriptions give details of the Chola administration. The Chola society. Brahmins were learned and very respected and were respected the most. Next to Brahmins, the merchants were respected due to their wealth. The other people were artisans, farmers, craftsmen, and workers. Women were treated with honor. The Chola literature. Many literary and religious works were translated from Sanskrit into Tamil, Telugu, and Kannada. Kamban, the great writer of this period, translated the Ramayana in Tamil. The Mahabharata was translated into Telugu. Pampa, Purna, and Ranna were the three jewels of Kannada literature. Temple architecture. Temples became the center of life during the Chola reign. They were not only places of worship but also centers of economic, political, and cultural activities. The main features of Chola Empire is the Vimana or tower. The Brihadeshwar temple built by Rajaraja Chola comprises 13 stories and is crowned by a single block of granite. Rajendra Chola also constructed the new capital Gangaikoda Cholapuram. Kanchipuram temple is also very famous and is a center of pilgrimage for Hindu devotees. The large rock cut temple at Mahabalipuram and the Kailashnath were built in 8th century. The Shiva temple of Tanjore and the bronze statue of Nataraj are fine examples of Chola art. Look at these images. These are the images of some famous temples of South India. First, Brihadeshwar temple, Kanchipuram temple, Kailashnath temple, Mahabalipuram temple. Economy. Land revenue was the main source of income. It was fixed at 1/3 of the produce by the Cholas. The economic condition of the people was good. Agriculture, trade, and weaving were the chief occupations of the people. The agricultural and irrigational facilities were very well developed, which increased the agricultural yield. The Chola rulers spent a large part of the income on public welfare. Education. The temple of South India was not only a place of worship but also an important center of culture, administration, and education. Each temple had an attached matha which provided free education, boarding, and lodging to the students. Some temples emerged as leading cultural centers, fairs, contests, and other cultural activities as the language of scholars. Tamil, Kannada, and Telugu also progressed. Shankaracharya. Many years ago, when the practice of Dhamma was on the decline in India, Adi Shankaracharya appeared on the scene and propagated the ancient Vedic Dharma in the form of Advaita or the philosophy of non-duality. At an early age, Adi Shankara learnt the Vedas. He realized that oneness, Ekatvam, is the essence of all knowledge. This is the doctrine of Advaita, the absolute in one alone. This is the picture of Adi Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya taught the rulers bhakti, yoga, and karma to brighten the intellect and purify the heart. Advaita is the awareness of the divine in everything and everywhere. Shankaracharya suggested satsang as the very first step in sadhana. Satsang means company of wise and good people. He established 4 mathas in the 4 extreme corners of India to spread the message of Advaita all over the country. They are North, Jyotirmath at Badrinath, West, Sharda Peeth at Dwarka, East, Govardhan Math at Puri, South, Sringeri Math at Sringeri. Shankaracharya lived only for 32 years, but during that time he purified and consolidated the various schools of worship and brought them under the umbrella of one philosophical principle, Advaita. Now let's look at this case study of Chola administration. Centralized administration. The rich peasants of the Vellala caste exercised over the Nadu that comprised many villages. A Nadu was directly under the supervision of central government. Revenue. Land revenue was the major source of economy for the upkeep of the Chola Mandalam. Role of landowners. The landowners were given titles like Movendivalan, a villein or a peasant serving, 3 kings, arayar, chiefs, etc. as a mark of respect. They held important office at the center. The villages were grouped into several types like 1. Brahmadevas, Brahmin village, 2nd. Velala, farmer villages, 3rd. Tanayur, those who did some commendable work, 4th. Deva Dana, land gifted to temple. A village was an area that had wetlands, dry lands, or cultivators, village site, houses, house gardens, mandram, meeting place, wastelands for grazing cattle, tanks, cow, pens, hedges, forest land, barren lands, brackish lands, streams, channels, rivers, arable land near river, pits of water and trees. The assembly of Brahmins was known as the Sabha. It was a very powerful institution. It looked after the land gifted to Brahmins. The assemblies were well organized and functioned efficiently. The main features of the organization of the Sabha were the following. Number 1. Committees. There were separate committees to look after each different aspect of land gifted to Brahmins. One of the committees looked after irrigation works, another after gardens, still another after temples, and so on. Membership. The name of eligible member written on palm leaves were put in an earthen pot. A boy was asked to take out a specific number for each committee. In this way, the committees were constituted. Summing up, Mandalam, a Chola province. Rajput, a term which originated from the Sanskrit, the word Rajutra, meaning son of a king. Rajaraja spread the message of the Vedas among the common people. The kings performed Ashwamedha Yagna to celebrate their conquest. Rajendra Chola, son of Rajaraja I, ruled for 28 years. He expanded his territories over Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Sumatra, Malaya, and Pegu. Rajendra Chola defeated the Pala king Mahipal of Bihar and Bengal. He took the title of Gangai Kondai, victor of Ganga. The Venetian traveler Marco Polo has left an account of the Pandyan kingdom. During 750 AD, South India saw the rule of Chera and Pandya. Thank you, class. Let's meet in the next class.